Tonight on NDG Now, the West Haven Community Center is struggling to keep its doors open due to serious budgetary constraints.
We extended ourselves too far.
The center that prides itself on its after-school program for low-income kids is dealing with an outstanding debt to the city, causing problems in more ways than one. Concerns over safety in taxis is increasing after 4 recent reports of sexual assaults by taxi drivers in NDG. The Montreal police have advised women to take extra caution while riding in cabs. Our reporter Elise Favis is here in studio to give us more information on the issue. And an NDG dance class brings the community together, helping people embrace their natural groove while staying both physically fit and socially active.
I feel rejuvenated, I feel full of energy.
Good evening, I'm Alex Melki. The West Haven Community Center has given NDG residents peace of mind for over 40 years by offering social and recreational programs for those in need, but it can barely keep its doors open. Just 9 months into the year, and the center has already spent its entire $75,000 budget.
The budget is always made with the city before summer camp starts, and we had a new coordinator who was very experienced and we thought could handle the job. It was basically, there was employees working hours that we'd never work.
Staff is currently working for free and rallying against closing the center, which would burden parents who rely heavily on its programs. Now, before the school year started, the borough suggested that the center not reopen until all financial issues were resolved.
It was hard to kind of wrap our minds around the fact that it could close or it should close for a couple of months. So that was really how it happened. It was just kind of quick decision. Can't happen, can't do that, we gotta find a way.
The board of the center did consider a temporary shutdown, but felt it would be too much of a burden on parents who depend on the afternoon school care.
We have donations regularly now. Like we have even people that you know that they can't afford to give much, but they're doing the best they can.
The board will reassess the financial situation in January, but for now, they're focusing their efforts on obtaining donations and recruiting volunteers. The budget of the Centre de Santé et de Services Sociaux de la Montagne in Côte-des-Neiges is going to suffer a nearly $1 million cutback. At least 17 jobs are expected to be eliminated. Our reporter, Gabriela Muzacchio, is here in studio to tell us more. Gabriela, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Okay, so, what can you tell us about this budget cut?
Okay, so the implementation of Bill 10 is leading to budget cuts across the board for healthcare entirely. So this means a loss of readily available professionals, which in turn means a loss of practitioners, but for the same amount of patients.
Okay, now what kind of jobs can we expect to be cut?
Well, we know for now that at least 17 jobs will be cut, and this is according to the Fédération Interprofessionnelle de la Santé du Québec. So this ranges from physiotherapists to nurses to first responders to dental hygienists to physiotherapists, so it's a pretty big cut.
Okay, now what's the biggest cause of concern for local residents?
Right now, the biggest cause for concern is a loss of affordable health care for people in the area. So these cuts to funding are lowering all kinds of services available, in turn not giving affordable health care to people in need in the area.
Wow. All right. Thank you for joining us, Gabrielle.
Always a pleasure.
HEC Montreal has wrapped up its edible forest for the year, but the project has just begun to put down roots. Marie-Josée Kelly has the story.
This September, HEC Montréal opened its first edible forest. Planted directly on campus, the project was realized in collaboration with Les Amis de la Montagne, Tree Canada, and Evergreen. The forest offers a variety of herbs, fruits, and vegetables, including mustard, goji berries, and rutabagas. It represents the first phase of Hectare Urbain, a greening initiative aiming to reclaim all available rooftops and open spaces on school grounds. While the garden's gates have recently closed for the winter season, Karine Navalis' idea has been growing over the past year.
In late May, we inaugurated the gardens and began planting. Hectare Urbain's first site is a 60,000 square foot terrain. We planted nearly 85 different species of plants, and the objective was to create an edible forest for students and community members alike.
Part of their mission is to educate the HEC community on issues surrounding sustainability and on maintaining biodiversity. Jacques Fortin is an outgoing professor at HEC and the founder of the project.
On a toujours une preuve à faire.
We have a responsibility to show the value of investing in the environment, and we have to make an effort to be environmentally friendly. So we thought to ourselves, let's lead by example and show people by making this a community project.
However, the Hectare Urbain project doesn't just end with gardening. One of their goals is the preservation of rare heirloom varieties.
Les semences ancestrales, c'est vraiment...
Heirloom seeds are seeds that have not been altered by humans, seeds that reproduce the original species of plants. We're seeing less and less of these plants because they are not as nice looking for marketing purposes, which is leading to a homogenization of our food. We're in the process of losing them forever.
While the project is beneficial for the environment, community involvement is flourishing as well. More than 40 students are contributing to the forest's upkeep, though the project is not just for the HEC community.
Donc c'est vraiment un projet avec...
So it's really a project based on social economy and community economy. This is what we try to teach at HEC. We offer a lot of courses on social economy, and the idea is really one of equity.
The project is expected to grow in coming years. Hectare Urbain is hoping to partner with different groups to show that business and urban agriculture can go hand in hand. For NDG Now, I'm Marie-Josée Kelly.
The so-called Vendôme Danger Zone has many cyclists and pedestrians in the area worried about safety. On October 24th, an 81-year-old man was struck by a bus while crossing the street in the area. With no designated bike path, cyclists are forced to share the roads with buses, making it difficult to move in and out of the zone. A temporary protected bike path was planned for the end of this year, while a permanent lane was set for a spring debut. City officials and the STM have since delayed the plan, citing danger for pedestrians as a reason. With the new MUHC hospital slated to begin accepting patients as of April 2015, the ANDG Cyclist and Pedestrian Association is worried about an increase in the amount of traffic in the area. We spoke with Jeff Stube, a member of the association, about the group's demands in light of the delay.
We're demanding now that the city put in a first, at least temporary phase of the protected bike path by April to accommodate the changes in that area. I mean, just at a time when the hospital is going to be opening, construction on the Turcotte interchange is just getting started. It's a critical time, and we can't not make progress on this bike path when the STM is predicting that there'll be a 45% increase of users to the Vendôme station.
With winter just around the corner, the group hopes that pylons or cement dividers will be set up to provide bikers with a designated area reserved for cycling. Concern over safety in taxis is increasing after 4 recent sexual assaults in taxis in NDG. The Montreal police have advised women to take extra caution while riding in cabs. Our reporter Elise Favis is here in studio to give us a little bit more information on the issue. Elise, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, now can you give me any details about these cases?
Of course. Well, in these cases, the victims hailed cabs downtown and were driven to the NDG area. Now, in Montreal, there have been 17 sexual assault cases in this year alone relating to taxis. Now, the police believe the sexual assaults that occurred in NDG may be by the same attacker, yet that's still to be confirmed. It's also unsure which cab companies are affiliated with these attacks, since the victims were unable to recall which cab company cars they hailed.
Wow. Now, is there anything women can do to stay safe while taking a taxi?
Well, the police have advised that women do not take a taxi alone and that they limit their alcohol usage. Now, these statements created an angry buzz on social media because Montrealers believed that it was blaming the victims instead of looking at the problem at hand. Now, the police have also suggested that women keep a phone handy and text a friend if they feel uncomfortable, or even snap a photo of the driver if they can. Julie Michaud from Concordia's Gender Advocacy Center, she believes what's needed is more advising and training for cab drivers. To reduce these risks, there could be alarm systems or even security cameras placed in taxis.
Okay, now is there any kind of background check done on the cab drivers themselves?
Well, there should be, but for many cab companies in Montreal, criminal background checks are not being enforced. If you look at provincial law, it prohibits anyone who has committed a crime in the last 5 years to receive a taxi permit. Now, Montreal police have conducted an investigation which revealed that these screenings were not being done or only being done on cab drivers that worked with the handicapped, the elderly, and children.
Okay. Now, is there anything being done to help resolve this issue?
Quebec Transport Minister Robert Poetti has promised that he will look into the issue and make sure that the screening process is enforced.
Wow. All right, thanks a lot, Elise.
Thank you.
Okay. Winter is coming, and if you're looking to keep in shape, you may want to try on your dancing shoes for size. A dance class offered in NDG wants the community to embrace their inner talent while staying fit and healthy. Our reporter Natalie LaFlamme has more.
This is a typical Thursday evening for Nadine Joy Collins and her Groove class at the St. Raymond's Community Center. The Groove is an international dance program that requires little choreography and instead focuses on free body movement and confidence. Collins started grooving after suffering an ankle injury. She enjoyed it so much that she decided to become a groove facilitator. Her favorite part of the job is watching people find their rhythm.
You know, sometimes if they're new, they start off like, you know, kind of in themselves and they're thinking about it a lot. And then after, you can see them just like, you know, like using all that space and just adding their style and personality. And that's what I get out of facilitating groove.
So, how much coordination is really needed? I decided to put that to the test, getting in on the action myself. I'm definitely no Gene Kelly, but I had no trouble keeping up. The lights are dimmed to create a comfortable atmosphere, and the steps are easy to make your own. You can feel the energy flowing through the room. People of all ages can take part because everyone moves at their own pace, something groover Alexandra Burns found very helpful.
I feel rejuvenated, I feel full of energy, and you just feel relaxed and happy with what you ended up being able to do in the class.
There's no denying that dance is a great way to stay active and healthy. It's also been proven to improve social well-being. That's the focus of the study being done by the Concordia Perform Center. They're doing this in collaboration with Les Grands Ballets Canadiens de Montréal. Alida Esmail is the study's main coordinator. They are looking at how dance can impact the aging process.
Again, with the aging process, it's not only your physical capacity that declines, it's really your cognitive ability, your mental functions, all of that. And dance, by nature, is something that can really incorporate those two aspects into one physical activity.
Back in Collins's class, groovers are done working up a sweat. It's time to switch off and unwind. And after all that hard work, they deserve the break. For NDG Now, I'm Natalie LaFlamme.
We've all been there, waiting in long lines in the cold or running for a bus just to have a stranger cram themselves into your personal space. If you've taken the 105 down Sherbrooke Street recently, you know how overcrowded it gets at rush hour. Karen Ernatowski, a community organizer with the NDG Senior Citizens Council, started a petition so that the STM would add more buses to that busy line. She herself had a herniated disc just a few years ago, and standing on the bus was difficult for her.
It tends to be the people with less visible disabilities that have more trouble getting a seat on the bus. They're less likely to be offered a seat. And standing on the bus was excruciating for me. But I didn't have gray hair, and I didn't have a cane. Nobody offered me a seat.
Now, the STM announced they would be adding 4 new buses to the route, but some people say that's just not enough. City Councillor Peter McQueen, who participated in the demonstration, thinks elderly people should have the right to sit on the bus.
An old person gets on the bus, there's never a seat. It's not a case of occasionally they might not have a seat or somebody, you can't even, it's not even an issue if somebody said even if you wanted to give up your seat for an old person, it's also jammed in and nobody could move to get to the seat or something, you know? That's how bad it is on the bus in the morning, so it's completely absurd.
Despite the increase, the 105 bus route is still short nearly 30 buses from last year's count. NDG residents' repeated pleas for more service on the overcrowded bus line hasn't achieved the desired outcome quite just yet. Well, that's going to be it for tonight's live edition of NDG Now, your source for the only news that matters in NDG. I'm Alex Melki, and from all of us here in studio, good night.